Welcome to Crowded Market Report by Jason Shapiro.
Hello, today is March 23rd, 2024. I am Jason Shapiro with crowdedmarketreport.com. Today I am going to talk about a single stock, which I very rarely do because I don't trade single stocks. I'm a futures trader, but I do believe that markets act the same no matter what the asset is over time. And I've gotten a lot of questions about Tesla for whatever reason recently. And I also had some things happen in my life, sort of ticked off a few Tesla type of things. So I thought I'd talk about those. And I'll start with the fundamental thing as I see it. And this is very sort of Peter Lynchy, very basic fundamental stuff. I'm not looking at balance sheets or income statements or forecasted sales in China versus what my forecasted sales in China are, because I have no idea about that. And there hopefully are people that know more about that than I do. We better hope so. But I will say this. I know a lot of people that own a Tesla, including my brother. And they bought them because, look, they're cool cars. They got tax benefits when they bought them. They wanted to help, the environment, so to speak. I'm not going to get into whether that's real or not. This is not the place for that. But not a single one of these people is looking to buy a Tesla again. Not a single one of them that I know, anyway. That, I think, says something, right? And the reason is because they don't want to deal with this charging thing anymore and the distance thing. I own a hybrid, which is great because I don't drive a lot. I stay pretty local. So when I charge my hybrid, it gives me like 50 miles, and that's enough range for me to get through most days. But if I need to go somewhere longer than that, I just fill it up with gas and I go, and I don't worry about it. Like, to me, that's great. But this electric thing, people hate it. And I have a friend who lives in LA, and he and his wife bought a Rivian, very LA thing to do. And what they found was they never drive it now. They've had it 6 months. They never drive it because their house doesn't have enough power to charge the thing. So that's fine. They have to go to the local charging station, which is at the local shopping mall. You plug it in for an hour, you go to the mall for an hour, you come out, it's charged. That's great. Except when they get there, there's a 3-hour line to get on the charging stations. So it's impossible. So they have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, drive to the mall, charge the car for an hour while they sit there. They've just said, forget it. They parked in the garage. They don't even drive the thing. And they can't even sell it because nobody else wants to deal with that anyway. So that's kind of my view for how people are looking at electric. I went down to Florida a few weeks ago. I was in North Florida. A friend of mine from South Florida was going to drive up and hang out with me. And he rented a Tesla to come up. And all I heard for 3 days was him bitching about this Tesla and dealing with renting this Tesla, and he would never rent a Tesla again. I went out to Seattle last week. I rented a car. And I didn't know it, but the guy's like, oh, it's an electric car. Okay, whatever. I go, can I drive this thing to Canada? Because I had to go to Vancouver. He's like, yeah, sure you can. But here, download the app and it'll show you where all the charging stations are. I was like, you know what? Forget that. Just give me a gas car. I don't want to deal with downloading the app and figuring out where the charging stations are and be stuck in Canada and I don't have enough charge. Like, get out of here. Give me a car with gas and let me go. Now, I'm not everybody, but I feel like I'm pretty similar to most people, okay? And it's not just me, my friend in Florida. So people are just sick of this electric thing, man. I really believe that. Now, the government is trying to push that, hey, all cars are going to be electric in 15 years, and maybe that works. Personally, I find when the government pushes something that is economically inefficient, it doesn't work over time. But so I just think on a fundamental basis that this thing is not in the greatest position it's ever been in. And then you don't have to take my word for it. The market, as I always say, is the ultimate answer. This stock, Tesla, is down 31% this year. The S&P is up over 10% this year. It's 41% underperformance to the market. Now, maybe you're saying to yourself, well, I'm getting it cheap here. And maybe you are, okay? Over time, any one trade, anything can kind of happen. But over time, buying the weak is not the way to go. You want to buy things that are going up, and you want to sell things that are going down. This thing is clearly going down, not just on a relative basis, but on an actual basis. You're going to bottom pick this. You're going to get it cheap. That's the thought process behind trading the last bull market. The last bull market was Tesla, okay? And you most likely missed that, and now you want to get it on the cheap. That's the psychology there. That tends to be very, very bad psychology over time. This bull market, we know what this bull market is. Semiconductors, and all that. This bull market is not Tesla. This bull market is not Apple. there have to be better stocks to buy than Tesla, is my point. Both from my simple fundamental thing that I'm noticing. I didn't go out to try and notice this. It just kind of happened upon me. And from a market point of view, from a technical point of view, the thing is horrible. I'm sure that, and look, you might have better information, at least I hope you do if you own the stock, about Tesla than I do, in terms of maybe their future is not necessarily electric cars. Maybe it's this robotic thing that they're getting into, and maybe they're going to take over the robotic world, and that's going to end up being a huge thing in the future. Maybe it is. But what I have found is that when things like that happened, a la NVIDIA, the market moves first. Okay, the market confirms this first, and we find out later. NVIDIA started moving way before everybody got into this. Oh my God, AI is the biggest thing in the world, right? And everybody was fading the NVIDIA first, but the market will tell you. So if you want to own Tesla, fine, let the market tell you first. Let it outperform for a week at least or something. I always say this, let the market confirm anything you want to do, and that includes this. But I still would say, from a very simplistic, technical and simplistic fundamental point of view, right now, there's got to be better stocks to own than Tesla. Okay, so that's my thought process. I hope it helps. I'm sure that there will be a lot of people arguing with this, and that's fine because that's what makes a market. I'm always willing to hear comments, in particular the ones that are against my thought process, because then I can learn something. I hope everybody has a great week trading this week, and please like the video if you liked it, and check us out if you'd like on crowdedmarketreport.com. Thank you.
Subscribe to Crowded Market Report by Jason Shapiro.